Let me tell you what I think should be gone. The notion that Terence Bud Crawford should move up 3 weight classes, 21 pounds, to fight Canelo Alvarez. He's entirely too small. Jermell Charlo already proved that because he couldn't let it go. Bud Crawford needs to let it go. Too small.
And I have no doubt, pure boxing skill against pure boxing skill, Crawford could outduel anybody. My question is once you're not concerned about his power, what then? We need to see Canelo in the ring with a level of power he has to respect so we can see both his power and his boxing magnificence on a level competing against somebody who is supposed to be on the same level.
Yep,
otherwise
absolutely.
we're being cheated.
Stephen A. Smith has just warned Terence Crawford not to fight Canelo Alvarez as he thinks Crawford is too small for Canelo. However, Stephen A. Smith also said his first thought is that Crawford would be the better boxer. Even though Canelo is a great and experienced fighter with around 65 fights, Smith thinks Crawford's boxing skills would trouble him. However, Smith also said Crawford has never faced someone as strong as Canelo. He believes Crawford would struggle to keep Canelo away if he cannot hurt him. Crawford says this is a legacy fight and wants to prove he can beat someone at Canelo's level. Smith pointed out that Crawford has not fought many top names because of how the boxing business works, and that Crawford is more a victim of that system than a bad guy.
You know what, I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, as seasoned as he is with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. Don't believe he can hurt Canelo. Just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer, but if he can't hurt Canelo, he can't keep him off of him. He says it's a legacy fight, and he believes he can do the same, and he wants to do the same against a fighter the caliber of Canelo Alvarez, which is why we haven't really seen him in the ring against anybody else. Fortunately, that's the business of boxing. He's a victim of it, not a villain.
Moreover, Jim Lampley said he likes Canelo Alvarez in a fight against Bud Crawford, though he admitted that could change as the fight gets closer. He called it a great matchup and compared Crawford to Sugar Ray Robinson, saying Crawford has similar all-around skills. He praised Crawford's ability to switch between defense and attack and mentioned his inner toughness that he can use when needed. Lampley recalled that before Crawford fought Errol Spence, many in the boxing media favored Spence, but Lampley disagreed, saying Spence lacked the deep understanding of boxing that Crawford has.
I do like him against Bud Crawford, but I do think that it's a great fight. Now, I could change my mind when we get closer. Bud Crawford, to me, is a latter-day Sugar Ray Robinson. He has the multiple skills of Sugar Ray Robinson. He can defend or attack. He has a deep inner mean streak that he can employ at any moment in a fight to get what he wants. You know, before the fight against, help me out here,
Madrimov was his last fight. Spence?
Spence.
Yes.
Before the fight against Errol Spence, there were quite a lot of people in the sport, in boxing media, who were saying, you know, I like Spence to win the fight. I was one of those people who said, no way. Errol Spence doesn't have the depth.
He described Crawford as one of the top professionals of his era, placing him alongside Canelo Alvarez. That, according to Lampley, is what makes their possible fight so special. He said both fighters are true masters of the sport who know every part of it. He believes their match would not only be exciting, but also a smart, strategic battle between two of boxing's best thinkers. Lampley said he cannot wait to see how it plays out.
And the intellectual understanding of prize fighting to beat Terence Crawford, who is the great professional of his era, along with Canelo Alvarez. That's why that's such a great fight. They are the two living, practicing ultra professionals in the sport. They know it inside out. And one way or another, it's going to be a spectacular intellectual matchup of two great ring strategists.
However, Stephen A. Smith said he does not like the idea of Crawford fighting Canelo at all. He said Crawford is the best pound-for-pound boxer in the world, and while Canelo is also one of the top fighters, there is a big difference in size. Canelo fights at 168 pounds, which means he walks around much heavier than Crawford, and that weight gap makes the matchup unfair in Smith's view.
I hate it. I don't like it one bit.
I think that Crawford is the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. I think that Canelo is one of those folks. But Canelo is fighting at 168, which means he's walking around heavier.
Stephen A. Smith further said that when it comes to pure boxing skill, Crawford could outbox anyone, but he questioned what happens when an opponent is not worried about Crawford's power. He said Canelo needs to face someone with enough power to make him cautious, so fans can truly see both Canelo's strength and his boxing brilliance tested at the highest level. Smith added that if Crawford cannot offer that kind of threat, then the fight might not show either man at his best, and in that case, the fans would be missing out.
And I have no doubt, pure boxing skill against pure boxing skill, Crawford could outduel anybody. My question is once you're not concerned about his power, what then? We need to see Canelo in the ring with a level of power he has to respect, so we can see both his power and his boxing magnificence on a level competing against somebody who is supposed to be on the same level.
Yep.
Otherwise,
absolutely.
we're being cheated.
Moreover, Danny Garcia said that Crawford has stayed active and has been a champion throughout his entire career. He pointed out that Crawford has held a title since 2012 and has always had the mindset of a champion. Garcia gave Crawford credit for his accomplishments, but noted that moving up to 168 pounds is a big challenge. While he believes Crawford has the skills, his personal opinion is that Canelo will be too much for him in the end.
Crawford has been active and he's been a champion his whole career. You know, that's something you got to give Crawford for. You got to give Crawford his flowers. He's really been a champion since 2012. You know, has never not been a champion. So he has the champion's mindset. He is going up to 168. So that's a steep hill to climb. You know, I mean, he has the tools, but I think Canelo's gonna. My personal opinion, I think Canelo's going to be too much for him.
Tyrone Davis said that if he had to choose, he would pick Canelo because of the weight difference, which makes it very hard to move up so many weight classes. However, he also said that if anyone could handle it, it would be Terence Crawford, since he is very skilled, well-rounded, and able to adjust in the ring. Davis believes Canelo will be fully prepared and highly motivated for this fight, and fans will see the best version of both fighters. He added that Crawford is testing himself with this challenge, and if Crawford wins, it would strengthen his place in the conversation about the greatest of all time.
If I have to pick, if I had to pick, I'll put Canelo, just because of the weight disparity. You know, it's tough moving up that many weight classes, but if anybody could do it, it'll be Terence Crawford. You know, he's talented, he's a great fighter, he does everything well, he adjusts well, he has the mindset. Canelo's gonna come prepared. I think he's gonna be totally motivated for this fight. I think we're gonna see like a great Canelo. I think you're gonna see a great Crawford. He's trying to test himself to be the greatest. Like, I mean, if he wins this fight, I mean, he enters that GOAT conversation. So.
Joe Diaz said there is no way Terence Crawford, who he called his favorite and the best pound-for-pound fighter, can beat Canelo Alvarez. He explained that Crawford is coming up from 147 pounds to fight at 168, and while he might do well for a couple of rounds, the size and power difference would eventually catch up. Diaz said Canelo has taken punches from powerful fighters like Gennady Golovkin without being hurt, but he believes that if Canelo lands on Crawford, he will hurt him.
I mean, there is no way that Terence Crawford, being to me my favorite fighter, I mean, the best fighter pound for pound, can be Canelo. I mean, a 147 pounder moving up to 68, I mean, he can only maybe go 2-3 rounds, good 2-3 rounds, and then Canelo hits him and he hurts him. Canelo's being hit by Triple G, the hardest hitter in the division, and never hurt him. But Canelo will hit Crawford and he'll hurt him.
Diaz compared it to when Demetrius Andrade moved up to fight David Benavidez. Andrade looked sharp early, but once the weight difference started to matter, it became one-sided. He said Crawford is similar to Andrade in that he is very skilled, but the physical gap is just too much. He emphasized that once the natural weight advantage takes effect, it changes the fight. Diaz believes there is no realistic way for Crawford to win against someone like Canelo, who is naturally bigger and stronger. He added that this fight is more about business, suggesting that a big fan of Crawford just wants to get him a major payday. To Diaz, it is not a fair matchup, but a financial move.
Let's put it this way. You remember the fight Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade? Yes. Demetrius Andrade was a great fighter. Nobody wanted to fight him at 54. He moved to 60. Fight 1 or 2. Nobody wanted to fight him at 60. So what did he do? He moved up to 68 because there was nothing for him to fight Benavidez, a big big fighter like that, I mean, look what he did in the first early round. Demetrius Johnson was in control. He was doing great. But once that weight starts kicking in, it takes over. There is no way that Crawford can beat Canelo. I mean, turkey on the cheek. It's a big fan of Terence Crawford. He wants to give him a good payday, and simple as that. That's all it is, man.
Jaron "Boots" Ennis also thinks Canelo Alvarez has the edge over Terence Crawford. He pointed out that Canelo has shown he can take punches from bigger fighters and still deliver heavy shots that do damage. Some of Canelo's past opponents have entered the ring much heavier after weigh-ins, and he's still been able to hurt them. Ennis feels that kind of strength gives Canelo a major advantage and is one of the main reasons he favors him in a fight against Crawford.
But I think you gotta lean more towards Canelo, because like I said before, he been pitting big guys out and down, and Canelo not even really a 68 pounder. He probably really should be at 60 maybe, and he been hurting these guys. I think he be dropping these guys and things like that. So, and them guys be way bigger than him come fight night. I know that for sure. They be probably close to 200 pounds, and he dropping those guys like that. So I don't know, it's gonna be a great fight. The fans want to see it. So
Keith Thurman feels Terence Crawford has a strong chance to defeat Canelo Alvarez, but only if he pushes his training beyond the usual limits. He believes Crawford needs to take things to another level, working out in challenging environments like high-altitude locations, and focusing on perfecting every part of his preparation, both physically and mentally. Thurman says Crawford must sharpen his awareness in the ring, stay mentally ahead, and picture every possible moment before it happens.
I don't want to say it's impossible for my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where it needs to be planned out, trained out, and methodically, delivered on a fight night. And then the other thing is how athletic is he going to move with the extra weight on top of him? So, like I said, it's just very important to train, to have the best camp that you can have, the high altitude, get all that oxygen, and just use all those little biohacking things to your advantage, to make an upset. I mean, you're gonna go home a winner.
Thurman also mentioned the risk that extra weight might slow down Crawford's footwork, questioning whether he'll keep the same sharp movement. Still, he said with the right plan, including modern recovery science and high-level conditioning, Crawford could close the distance. If everything falls into place, Thurman believes a surprise win is definitely within reach.
And so I'm gonna counter his counter. I don't want to say it's impossible for my boy Crawford, but it's one of those things where it needs to be planned out, trained out, and methodically, delivered on a fight night. And then the other thing is how athletic is he going to move with the extra weight on top of him? So, like I said, it's just very important to train, to have the best camp that you can have, the high altitude, get all that oxygen, and just use all those little biohacking things to your advantage, to make an upset. I mean, you're gonna go home a winner.
Amir Khan expressed his views on a possible showdown between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, describing it as an even more exciting and high-stakes bout now. He noted that although Canelo holds the advantage in natural size and weight, Crawford's latest showing has added new intrigue to the matchup. Khan thinks that pure strength and size will not be the deciding factors. Instead, success will come from intelligence in the ring, quickness, tactics, and complete skill sets. He considers it a meeting of two of the top pound-for-pound fighters, and even with Crawford being the smaller man, sees it as a tight and unpredictable fight that could swing either way.
But it's made a bigger fight happen now with Canelo and Crawford. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Is there more question marks being asked in that fight now? Because a lot of people say, look, Canelo's a bigger guy. He should technically be the bigger guy, have too much weight for Crawford, but from that performance, do you feel like it's a lot tight and there's a lot more question marks in that fight?
Yeah, I mean, you need more than size, you need more than weight, you need more than everything. I mean, I think what you need now is you just need box IQ, the right box IQ, you know what I mean? You need to be smart. And someone like Canelo fighting against Crawford, you need more than power, you need more than speed, you need ring IQ, you need literally everything, because this is the two best pound-for-pound fighters who are going to be fighting each other, even though Crawford is going to be giving away a lot of weight. But I feel that it could go either way.
Errol Spence Jr. showed strong belief in Terence Crawford's chance to take on Canelo Alvarez and achieve something remarkable. He expressed support for Crawford and said he would back him in the fight even though he is not sure who would win. Spence thinks Crawford has what it takes to rise to the occasion in his quest for greatness. He also pointed out that since Canelo has fought at 175 pounds against fighters like Sergey Kovalev, Crawford, who began his career at 147 pounds, should be able to move up and face the challenge too.
I mean, it could happen. I mean, why not? If Crawford want to challenge himself to be great, let him try to be great, you know. So, you know what I'm saying, I'm with it. So, you know, I'll be going for Bud, you know, if he fight Canelo, I'll be going for him. I mean, I don't know if he's gonna win or lose, but I definitely be going for Crawford. I think if anybody can pull it off, he can pull it off.
You know,
he's chasing greatness, so why not? Canelo came up to 175 and all that, and fought Kovalev and fought the other guy too. So I mean, if he can do it, and he started at 147. So I mean, if he's doing it, why can't Crawford do it?
Bozy Ennis shared how he would coach Terence Crawford if he fought Canelo Alvarez. Ennis emphasized the importance of constant movement, ring control, and precise timing. He advised Crawford to avoid getting trapped near the ropes, stay alert throughout the fight, and continuously change his rhythm to disrupt Canelo's timing. Because of Canelo's great power, Ennis believes Crawford needs to remain active, use his footwork well, keep a tight guard, and create smart setups to stay one step ahead during the entire match.
Well, just what I would say. If I, was working with Terence or something like that, I would have him boxing, you know what I mean? Boxing, moving, and when he gets that time up, frustrating, you know what I mean? And that's the only way I can see him, Terence beating him, you know what I mean? Now, Canelo's a puncher, man, you know what I mean? So you can't be laying around on the ropes on him because he punch you in your arm and hurt you. You know what I mean? So you gotta be on. You gotta be on. I mean, boxing, moving, little shake here, little fake there, you know what I mean? Hands up. Gotta be right, man. You know what I mean? I think that's gonna be a great fight, man. People counting Terence out. I'm not counting him out.
Andre Ward showed strong faith in Terence Crawford's ability to take on Canelo Alvarez despite the challenge of moving up in weight. He admitted that the jump in weight is difficult, but pointed out that nobody has been able to break Crawford's will or outthink him inside the ring. Ward said he would never bet against Crawford because no one has proven they can beat him. He made it clear that his confidence in Crawford is not meant to lessen Canelo's skill, but to emphasize his belief in Crawford's power to overcome any opponent.
I'm going with Terence Crawford, big weight jump, a dangerous fight, but somebody's got to prove to me that they can break Terence Crawford's will and that he can't figure it out against you. It ain't no disrespect toward Canelo, but I've said this the last couple of years. I'm not betting against Terence Crawford against nobody right now. You got to show me that you can beat him.
Juan Manuel Marquez expressed concerns about the possible fight, recognizing Crawford's strong skills in lighter divisions like super lightweight, welterweight, and super welterweight. However, Marquez questioned whether moving up to a heavier weight would be a good choice for Crawford. He mentioned Crawford's fight against Madrimov, where Crawford seemed slower and less powerful, suggesting that fighting in a higher weight class might be tough for him. Although Marquez praised Crawford's defense and punching skills, he believes the weight difference could give Canelo a clear edge.
I don't like the fight because Terence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing it has divisions. You know what I mean?
Right, weight classes.
Yeah, weight classes
for a reason.
Weight classes and Terence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terence Crawford fought with Madrimov.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power, and two more divisions. I think it's a top fight for Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination punches, but I think the weight class is no good for him.
Caleb Plant praised both fighters, highlighting Crawford's top-level skills and unusual ability to adapt during a fight. He noted how Crawford can easily change his stance and deliver strong punches from different ranges. Plant expressed excitement for the possible matchup, saying that although there are many uncertainties, it is this unpredictability that makes the fight so interesting for boxing fans.
Terence is not a regular guy, you know what I'm saying? He's special. And
You know, Canelo, he's a top-notch fighter, world-class fighter. Still on the pound-for-pound list, I'm sure towards somewhere near the top. And it's exciting. You know, Terence is freakishly strong. He can punch, he's got good crack. He can fight from both ways. Orthodox, southpaw, he can fight at mid-range, close range, outside. And he can fight going both ways. So it's exciting. It's exciting. It's a big question mark on the end of it, though. So that's why, you know, I'm sure all of us are excited for that bell to ring and, you know, be able to find out firsthand.
So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video.